This is section 8.4, the basic concepts of probability. All right, so we have a single four-sided die, a fair four-sided die is tossed. There's only four sides. So the possible outcomes are you roll a 1, 2, 3, or 4. And we're going to deal with odds. We need the odds in favor of rolling a 3. Okay. So it's a ratio of 3 to rolling not 3. The odds in favor of rolling a 3, that has to come first. So you have 1, 3, and the number of numbers that are not 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if you roll a 3, we have 3 numbers that are not a 3. Okay, so the odds in favor of rolling a 3 are 1 to 3. Our next one is a 6-sided die. So that means you can roll a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. We need to find the odds in favor of rolling a 2, 3, or 5. Okay, so 2, 3, or 5. That's 3 possible outcomes. So that's a ratio of the outcomes we want to the ones we don't want. So we don't want a 1, 4, and 6. Okay, that's 3 to 3. Now, if you had that as a fraction, that's going to reduce to 1, which is 1 over 1. You do have to reduce these, put these in lowest terms. Okay, so it's a 1 to 1. So the odds in favor of rolling 2, 3, and 5 are 1 to 1. All right, a fair die is tossed. If they don't tell you how many sides it is, you have to assume it's 6. Okay, so we have our outcomes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. What are the odds in favor of rolling a number greater than 5? Now, greater than 5, does that include 5? It only includes 6. Okay. So the probability of rolling a 5 or a number greater than 5 is 1 out of 6. The complement, which is what we don't want, okay, so the probability of not rolling greater than 5 okay, will be 1 minus what we do want. So 1 minus 1/6 is going to be 5 over 6. So not rolling something greater than 5 would be the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that's 5 possible out of 6. Or the complements where you take 1 and you subtract what you don't want, and that is the probability greater than 5. So another way to look at this, like if the probability it's going to rain is 70%, what's the probability it's not going to rain? 1 minus the probability it's going to rain is 1 minus 0.7. So there's a 30% chance it's not going to rain. Okay, so we're using the complement, which is 1 minus what we don't want. If we want to find the probability that it doesn't rain, you do 1 minus the probability that it rains. All right, so what are the odds in favor of rolling a number greater than 5? So how many outcomes do we have that are greater than 5? We have 1, and that's a ratio of 1 to what we don't want. We don't want a 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So the odds in favor of rolling a number greater than 5 are 1 to 5. The probability is a ratio of what we want over the total, where the odds are a ratio of what we want to what we don't want, not the total. Fair die is rolled. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are our possible outcomes. Find the odds in favor of rolling a number greater than 2. That means we want to get a 3, 4, 5, or 6. We want 3, 4, 5, and 6, so that's 4 possible outcomes that we want. As a ratio to what we don't want a 1 or a 2, so that's going to be 2 possible outcomes. So if it's a fraction, we can reduce it. It will reduce to 2 over 1, so that's a ratio of 2 to 1. So the odds in favor of rolling number greater than 2 are 2 to 1. A ratio of what we want to what we don't want and reduce it if needed. All right, a marble is drawn from a box containing 4 yellow, 6 white, and 9 blue marbles. Okay. So yellow is 4, white is 6, and blue is 9. All right, find the odds in favor of drawing the following. The odds in favor of drawing a yellow. So we have a ratio of yellow to not yellow. Okay, so there's 4 yellow and 6 plus 9, that's 15 that are not yellow. If you were to do 4 over 15 as a fraction, there's nothing that you can reduce there. So you're just going to have to leave it. All right, so B. So we have a blue marble. What are the odds in favor of drawing a blue? So that's a ratio of blue to not blue. We have 9 blue. The ones that are not blue are yellow and white, which is going to be 10. So that is a ratio of 9 to 10. Our last one is a white marble. So the odds in favor of drawing a white marble, so it's a ratio of white to not white. All right, so white marbles are 6, and then not white would be the 4 and the 9, which is going to give me the 13. So 6 to 13. All right, and let's do this again. I just liked, it helps me to write this information out. You don't have to if you don't want to. Okay, and then blue. All right, find the odds in favor of not drawing a white marble. So we want a ratio of not white to white. The odds in favor of not drawing a white marble. So think about that, just what the words mean. So we want a ratio of not white, which is the 9 and the 4, which gives me 13, to white, which is 6. Okay. Finish this up. The probability of the bachelor's degree recipient in a certain country in 2018-19 majored in psychology is 41 out of 100. So 41% chance that they majored in psychology. Find the odds of the event occurring. So we're looking for the odds in favor a degree is in psychology. All right. So if we look at the probability, this is your psychology majors, and this would be the total number of majors. Okay, so the odds are different. For the probability, we have what we want over the total. We want psychology majors to not psychology majors. So for every 100 students, there are 41 are psychology majors. So if 41 are psychology majors, of the 100, how many are not psychology majors? Oh, don't make me do that by hand. It's been so long since I carried. All right. So 59. That means of 100 students, 41 are psychology majors, 59 are not. So odds or a ratio of what we want is psychology majors to not psychology majors. So that's 41 to 59. The odds that tax revenue in a certain country comes from property taxes are 78 to 22. Find the probability that a tax revenue comes from property tax. And this just is different notation. It's the same as this. Sometimes they do the two little dots. So the odds that a tax revenue comes from property tax, so 70 to 8 come from property tax. And 22 are not from property tax. So the probability that it comes from property tax is it comes from property tax over the total. So property tax is 78. The total would be the ones that come from property tax plus the ones that don't come from property tax. Okay, so that's going to be 78 over 100. And I do believe this is a decimal, if I'm not mistaken. Probability that the tax revenue come from property tax. Okay, that's going to be the 0.78. Okay. Anything else? I believe we're done.